My stepmom refuses to help me with my wedding because of my mom. I thought she was being petty at first, until my mom started saying it's her wedding too and tried to wear white to my wedding. Sorry in advance if this turns into a wall of text. I'm just really frustrated, really confused, and could really use some outside perspective because my brain feels like it's melting. Throwaway because I'm not sure if my mom or stepmom lurks here. I, 27F, am getting married in less than 7 months, and instead of feeling excited, I feel like I'm drowning in family drama I didn't even know existed. For context, my mom and stepmom, SM, are very different people. Like oil and water are different. My mom is one of those people who wears every single emotion on her sleeve. If she's happy, she's laughing until she cries. If she's sad, she's sobbing in the kitchen. If she's angry, you'll know about it in approximately 0.3 seconds. She's passionate, expressive, dramatic, and honestly, she's had a rough life. She had me at 19, my bio dad bailed, and she had to figure everything out alone. Later, she met my dad, and they had my younger sister. That marriage lasted 10 years. Then she left him and ended up with my stepdad, who she calls her soulmate. She's worked at a thrift store for as long as I can remember. Weird hours, little pay, no college education. She's always struggled with money, time, and energy. She loves hard, but she's also constantly torn in different directions. Growing up, she'd cry because she wanted to spend more time with us, but she had to balance that with giving my stepdad the attention he demanded. She was never the mom making Halloween costumes or baking cookies. Instead, we'd get fast food for dinner and promises that she'd make it up to us later. She did her best, but life was just harder for her. My stepmom, SM, came into my life when I was 10, and honestly, she's the opposite. Calm, composed, never yells, barely cries. The type of person who runs on spreadsheets and to-do lists. She's the one who signed us up for school activities, helped with homework, threw birthday parties, and handled doctor's appointments. She went to college, got a stable career as a project manager, and when she married my dad, they built a very financially stable household. If my mom were the emotional support parent, my SM would be the practical support parent. She wasn't overly warm, rarely said, "I love you," but she was reliable in a way that made me feel safe. I grew up loving both of them. I still love both of them. They both shaped me. I always felt lucky to have two moms. Fast forward to now, I'm planning my wedding. I naturally turned to my SM for help because she's amazing at planning and organizing, and my mom doesn't really have the time or resources. I thought this would be simple, but every time I asked SM for help, like with flowers or a vendor recommendation, she'd brush me off with, "You should ask your mom." At first, I thought she was just busy, but then she completely ignored a text I sent asking about flower shops, which is so unlike her. I swung by her house after work to ask in person, and she finally said it. I promised myself a long time ago that once you kids were out of the house, I'd never have to deal with your mom again. I'll help financially, but I don't want to get dragged into wedding planning if it means dealing with her. Cue record scratch. Wait, what? I never even knew she disliked my mom. She's never said a bad word about her in the 17 years she's been in my life. In fact, she always encouraged me to have a relationship with her. Anytime I'd vent as a teen, SM would say things like, "Your mother loves you," or "I don't know your mom well, but I know she cares about you." I pressed her on why she doesn't like my mom, but she shut down. She said, "That's between your mom and me. It doesn't affect how I feel about you. I've set a boundary, and I hope you can respect it." Of course, me being me, I went to my mom to ask if she had any idea what SM was talking about. Big mistake. My mom exploded, crying, yelling, saying my SM has always been controlling, power-hungry, trying to steal the mom role. She accused SM of throwing our birthday parties just to push her out. When I asked for details, she clammed up and said, "It's not your concern." Then she tried to look up SM on Facebook to send her a letter, only to discover SM had already blocked her everywhere. Now my mom's furious, crying every time I talk to her, saying SM is trying to ruin my wedding. It's been 4 days, and she's still ranting about it. Meanwhile, I asked SM if she could at least talk to my mom to calm things down. She laughed. Like, straight up laughed. I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of a war I never knew existed. I need help planning this wedding. My SM is amazing at that stuff, but she won't lift a finger because of boundaries. My mom wants to help, but she doesn't have the money or time, and is spiraling emotionally. I want to know what happened between them. They both say it's not my business, but it feels like it is because it's bleeding all over my wedding. I'm terrified my mom is going to corner SM at the wedding and blow everything up. Honestly, part of me wants to uninvite SM if she won't at least help calm my mom down, but I also desperately need the financial support she and my dad are giving. I feel like no matter what I do, I'm going to end up with a ruined wedding and two angry moms. Update 1. I reread my original post and cringed at how selfish I sounded. You were right. My SM has every right to set boundaries. She's been in my life for 17 years, never badmouthed my mom, always supported me, and I was basically asking her to break her own boundary for my convenience. Not cool. So, I decided to take the advice. I reached out to SM and told her, I want you to know I respect your boundaries. Thank you for always supporting me and being there for me, even if it's not in this specific way. She got quiet and seemed really touched. She admitted that she would like to help, but she's afraid my mom would find out and attack her, which would only put me in the middle. Shout out to you/Hergjitchko, who literally predicted this exact thing. It actually turned into a really nice conversation. I felt like we were on the same team again. Then, I had a long conversation with my mom. I told her, look, I know you and SM don't like each other, but this is my wedding. I really need support. Can you please put aside the drama and help me make this day special? To my surprise, she lit up. She said she'd been waiting her whole life to plan a wedding, since she never got one. She and my dad had a courthouse marriage, and she and my stepdad aren't officially married. I thought, okay, maybe this will work out after all. Oh, sweet summer child. We had a venue reserved, a beautiful outdoor park near our home. Small, affordable, perfect. 2 weeks later, I found out my mom had canceled the venue behind my back. She tried to book a destination wedding in Hawaii. Her reasoning? I wanted to surprise you with your dream wedding. You deserve the best. Except, the dream wedding she was describing was her dream, not mine. The deposit she refunded didn't come close to covering the Hawaiian deposit. She asked me to cover the rest. Cue massive blow-up fight. I told her my dream wedding was the outdoor park with all my friends, not some beach I couldn't afford. She cried, said I didn't appreciate her effort, and then promised she'd back off. I should have known better. From that moment on, she kept calling it our wedding. Not my wedding. Not me and fiancé's wedding. Our wedding. It was like she mentally adopted herself as my co-bride. I wanted a cupcake bar. She tried to switch it to a giant 3-tiered cake. I picked supplies for centerpieces. She accidentally bought the wrong ones. I confirmed vendors. She argued with them behind my back. Every single time, it turned into a screaming match followed by her collapsing in tears, saying, I shouldn't be helping you with a wedding before I get the wedding I deserve. Your dad owes me a wedding. Then, the next day, she'd apologize, blame it on unresolved issues, and swear she'd do better. She told me she was going to counseling and adjusting her depression meds. I'd feel guilty, forgive her, and the cycle would repeat. After months of this emotional roller coaster, I thought we'd finally reached an understanding. She could plan her dream wedding someday, but she couldn't hijack mine. Then she sent me a picture of the dress she bought to wear to my ceremony. A white sequined floor-length gown, with a pillbox hat, and a veil. At first, I thought my brain short-circuited. Like, this couldn't be real. But it was. And that's where I broke. I grabbed my phone, my car keys, and drove straight to my dad and SM's house. I walked in, showed them the picture, and completely lost it. I was sobbing, shaking, absolutely done. At first, I thought my SM was crying with me. But nope. She was laughing so hard she couldn't breathe. My dad came in, saw the picture, and he started laughing so hard he bent over and nearly fell. Meanwhile, I was just sitting there, mascara streaming down my face, thinking, how is this my life right now? So yeah, that's where we're at. Update 2. Back again because this circus hasn't stopped. Last time, I told you all about how my mom hijacked my wedding planning, canceled the venue, tried to move everything to Hawaii, kept calling it our wedding, fought me over literally every single decision. And then, the cherry on top, she bought herself a white sequined floor-length gown with a veil. I thought that was the absolute worst of it. Turns out, it was just the beginning. When I got the picture of her dress, I honestly felt my soul leave my body. I drove to my dad and SM's place in tears, shoved my phone at them, and started ugly crying. Like, full-on hyperventilating, snotty, red-faced breakdown. At first, I thought SM was tearing up in sympathy. But no, she was laughing. Like, wheezing, can't catch her breath, tears running down her face, laughing. Then my dad came in, took one look, and nearly collapsed. He was laughing so hard. Meanwhile, I was just sitting there like, my entire life is burning down and you two are doing stand-up comedy about it. Eventually, when they stopped laughing long enough to breathe, my dad pulled me into a hug and said, "Kiddo, this is your mom being your mom. She's always been like this. But it's not going to ruin your wedding. Not on my watch." That was the first time I felt a tiny bit of hope. SM, being the queen of strategy that she is, immediately went into project manager mode. She said, "From now until the wedding, your mom only gets controlled information. No vendor numbers, no contracts, no direct access. You give her what she needs to feel included, but nothing more." She literally called it an information diet. They also told me to set up passwords with all my vendors so no one but me or my fiancé could make changes. Which, by the way, saved us later. For the first time in months, I felt like someone had my back. But the white dress was still a massive problem. I asked my mom to return it. She refused. She said it was classy and appropriate because she was the mother of the bride. I told her white is for the bride. She cried, accused me of being selfish, and said she wasn't going to be shamed for wanting to look beautiful on our special day. That night, I sat in SM's kitchen, drinking tea, completely hopeless. That's when SM smirked and said, "What if we let her think she's winning, but really she's not?" SM's idea was pure genius. She told my mom that wearing white would be perfect because SM herself was also planning to wear a white dress. That way, people would know it was intentional and trendy, since a lot of weddings now have bridesmaids or MOB/MOGs wearing the wedding colors. And since my actual wedding colors were teal and gold, SM suggested, "Why don't you and I both match the wedding theme instead? It'll be beautiful." My mom bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. She ditched the sequin white gown and showed up in a teal dress. And yes, SM wore teal, too. Crisis averted, for now. The weeks leading up to the wedding were still tense. My mom kept pushing little things, decorations, seating charts, music choices. But thanks to SM and Dad, we managed to block most of it. For example, my mom tried to convince the caterer to switch our cupcake bar to a 3-tier cake. But because of the password system, the caterer called me instead. She showed up to a dress fitting uninvited, burst into tears about not having a mother-daughter moment, then accused me of being cold. She even tried to add her own friends to the guest list without telling me. Every single time, SM and Dad intercepted. They became like my personal wedding security detail. Dad even joked, "Your mom thinks this is her Super Bowl. We're just here to make sure you win the game." The wedding is literally in a week. Thanks to SM's information diet strategy, we've managed to keep most of the chaos at bay. But I'm still nervous. My mom is unpredictable, and I keep having nightmares that she's going to do something insane during the ceremony. On the bright side, I feel closer to my SM and Dad than I ever have. They've stepped up in a way I didn't even know I needed. Still, part of me can't stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. Final update. Deep breath. The wedding happened. And holy hell, it was every bit as chaotic and dramatic as you all predicted. I honestly don't even know how to write this without it sounding like a soap opera, but here we go. I barely slept the night before. My anxiety was through the roof because I knew my mom wasn't bluffing about the dress. My cousin, bless her, texted me first thing that morning. She's already getting ready. The dress is steamed. She's not joking. Cue panic. But then my stepmom came into the bridal suite where I was getting my hair done, holding a big garment bag. She just gave me this little smile and said, "Don't worry about your mom. We've got you. But I brought this just in case." Inside the bag was the most gorgeous teal evening gown I'd ever seen. Elegant, formal, but not bridal. She said, "If she refuses to back down, we'll improvise." At that point, I didn't even ask what improvise meant. I just nodded and tried to focus on my vows. The ceremony was set up in a beautiful garden venue. Guests started arriving, and everything was picture perfect. And then, my mother arrived. She showed up in a full white gown, veil included. Like, I'm not exaggerating. She looked like she was about to marry someone herself. People literally gasped when she walked in. Some even thought she was me for a second. I wanted to melt into the ground. My dad spotted her first, and his face was priceless. This mix of "I knew it" and "kill me now." Stepmom? Oh, she was fuming. She whispered to me, "Stay here. Don't you dare let this ruin your day." Then she marched off like a general heading into battle. Here's what I pieced together later, because I was hidden away before the ceremony. Stepmom intercepted my mom near the entrance. Apparently, it went something like this. "Stepmom, what the hell are you wearing?" Mom, smiling, "Isn't it beautiful? It's our big day. I thought it was only fitting." Stepmom, "No, absolutely not. You are not walking into that ceremony looking like the bride." Mom, laughing, "Oh, please, it's symbolic. Everyone will love it." Stepmom, "The only thing symbolic here is you trying to hijack your own daughter's wedding. Either you change or you leave." Of course, my mom refused. She started ranting about how I owed her this, how she gave me life, how this was about celebrating us as women. Total word salad. So my stepmom pulled out the teal gown like a magician pulling a rabbit from a hat and said, "Then you wear this, or you're not coming in." My mom lost it. Started yelling about sabotage, humiliation, betrayal. Guests were staring, some even taking out phones. Thankfully, my dad confiscated them before this turned into a viral TikTok. Eventually, my dad had to step in and say, "Either you change or you don't see your daughter get married. Your choice." After a 15-minute standoff, my mom finally stormed off to the restroom with the teal gown. She came back sulking, but changed. Did she look incredible in it? Yes. Did she look furious the entire ceremony? Also yes. But at least she wasn't in a white wedding dress anymore. Once I finally walked down the aisle, all the noise in my head went quiet. Seeing my fiancé waiting for me, seeing my dad proud, and stepmom grinning like she'd just slayed a dragon. It was perfect. And here's the kicker. Despite all her theatrics, my mom still cried during the vows. Loudly, like she wanted everyone to notice. But by then, I was so emotionally numb, I just powered through. We said "I do." We kissed. And it was beautiful. The reception was tense. My mom barely spoke to me, and when she did, it was through gritted teeth. She kept muttering about being humiliated and how I chose her over me, meaning stepmom. Meanwhile, guests kept coming up to me to say how amazing stepmom looked, how classy the teal dress was, and how someone dodged a bullet there. Word traveled fast, I guess. By the end of the night, I decided, I can't keep doing this dance with my mom. She didn't just cross boundaries, she trampled them in heels. So now, I've gone low contact. Haven't spoken to her since the wedding, except for one awkward text where she said, "I hope you realize you embarrassed me." Yeah, Mom, you embarrassed yourself. The silver lining, my relationship with my dad and stepmom has never been stronger. They were absolute heroes, and I will never forget how they protected me that day. And that's the story. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.